www.healthcmi.com. The Healthcare Medicine Institute Acupuncturist Continuing Education Online. Hello, I'm Adam White, licensed acupuncturist, and today, along with Professor Jeffrey Pong, Department Chair of 5 Branches University Clinical Medicine, Herbal Medicine, and Theory Departments, we will be presenting Chinese Medicine Dietetics plus Headache and Lung Disorders. Topics covered, of course, include headaches, but also external pathogenic attacks such as the common cold and respiratory disorders, and many other ailments treatable with traditional Chinese medicine dietetics. Enjoy our online video presentation. Remember, after watching the video, log in with your username and password, which you received upon purchasing the course at www.healthcmi.com, and click on Acupuncture's courses to take your quiz, get your certificate of completion for your acupuncture continuing education CE, CEUs, PDAs, CAEs for your license renewal. Again, simply log in with your username and password. Also, when purchasing the course, you receive a copy of that in your email. If you have any difficulty, simply go to contact us and we'll be glad to assist to make sure you get your acupuncturist continuing education online. And now, enjoy our course presentation of Chinese medicine dietetics plus headache and lung disorders.
Quantinating. So we talked about the 5 different kinds of grain. Okay, for example, we had 5 different grain will be good for 5 different kinds of organ, in the human being. For example, rice, because the color is kind of white. So then in the 5 element, the lung we associated with the white color. So then that is the major, the grain we taking, daily basics for Asian people. So then if we know how to be exactly to take the rice, actually it's very powerful. It can belong to like a medicinal nutrition things. We'll be talk about that a little bit later on, okay? And another one, like we talked about the whole wheat. So now the whole wheat, we all in the here, United States, we will be a little bit more difficult to be biased, like a whole wheat. Mostly the wheat is we already powder up, become wheat flour. So then we use the wheat flour to do many, cooking. But we forget one of the kind of, even though now they're selling like in the same way, something say whole wheat bread, but that's not the same like you use the whole wheat. So then the whole wheat, we just don't do any processing. So we just, like raw kind of whole wheat. Then we just boiling with the water with something like da jiao, okay, gan chao. Then we have formula called gan mai da jiao tang. So it's good for the people who had like menopausal, heart failure, night sweat, those kind of conditions. So then you can buy that kind of raw form like a whole wheat in the, something Asian market. But sometimes, also we can buy something they already cook. Then because they're simple, you can just buy that kind of already cooked, those kind of whole wheat. Then you can just use the boiling water to make the tea. Okay, we had available that kind of form, available in the supermarket. Sorghum, that will be not that common food in the Western diet, but that will be what is pretty red. Okay, that will be a lot of fiber over there and also have a lot of nutrient. So will be very good for the heart. Why then? Because we know that the major heart disease is like coronary arterial cirrhosis. That will be cause the heart attack. So then the sorghum or something related with something like even red bean or red grain that can be had dissolvable fiber. so that we can be prevention the heart disease. Another things that we be sampling too will be not very common in the Western diet. We call millet. Is something look like kind of the yellow, kind of small seeds. Usually in here, people will be using that for feed the birds. Okay, but that is very, very good for the spleen. In the TCM, we say the spleen is something like a digestion system, but also will be, you can be, and also the like immunity.
Jeffrey, I just pulled up a
Yeah,
nice
that is
picture.
the whole wheat.
Whole wheat we see on
On
one
the right side,
and we
and
also
the left side there will be
millet.
Melon.
Yeah, and you'll see it says dried wheat on the package. It is wheat in the Fushao Mai in the whole form. So I thought we would cut to that real quickly and take a look at what it would look like in the marketplace.
Yeah. Okay. Then the last one, the black color. So then we will be mostly, point out, the black bean. That will be very good for the kidney. So then in here, people, eat many different kind of bean, okay? But the black bean, some people just don't know what will be good for. Okay, in the kidney energy, in the TCM, that will be what can be related with your hearing. It can be related with your hair, so or related with your bone, or is very important organ in the TCM. Yeah, that's what we talked about, those kinds.
A little sorghum.
Yeah, sorghum. So now we also have 5 different kind of the fruit. So will be associated with 5 organ. The one will be what we call black day, okay, or just say something original. That kind of day we can be in the summertime. We can be bought that buy it in the supermarket, but they generally look like colors red. But after smoke, then they will become a black day. So then the black day that will be good for the liver. Okay, then before we mentioned the ganmai da jiao tang, the licorice, whole wheat, and also the big day. So that big day is one of the ingredients we mentioned for the good for the menopausal or night sweat, those kind of condition. Okay. Another one that will be chestnut. Chestnut will be associated with the spleen. Okay, then spleen, like we mentioned before, is always good for like immune system and also the digestion system. But the problems, the walnut, mostly not walnut, I mean the chestnut, it's difficult to peel off the skin. Okay, then we need to be like cut a little bit hole, then we boiling, then we open up. And otherwise, if you didn't open the hole, whatever you boiling or put it in the oven, it can cause like an explosion because inside the air will be expanded. It's good food, but we need to be when we preparing that chestnut is a little bit need to be patient. Okay, we want to be get the fresh one is better because so far in the supermarket they more selling like a dry chestnut or something. Still is kind of processing. Okay, and the fresh one when seasoned that will be available in any supermarket.
Jeffrey, in New York City, there is a tradition of dried chestnut being roasted out on street vendors. And do we have street vendors in China also selling chestnuts like that, or is that? And when they dry roast,
they actually put it in the like bake wok. Then they put something like a black sand. Then they heat it up. Then they turn over. Then until they are like a break. Then people will be just buy it freshly like that way.
very similar to
Yeah.
New York City. And I would
New York
assume,
City like that too.
yeah, a little more warming qualities with that, and
Yeah.
maybe more drying. You think more transporting?
Yeah, a
and
little bit more
transporting
dry,
phlegm?
but it's very good for like spring yangshu or kidney yangshu, those kind of condition. Okay. Then another one, li zhi, I don't think very common fruit in here. So, but the color or the shape of the li zhi fruit, we actually can put imaging. Then we can see how the li zhi, the shape is exactly look like a heart. Okay, it's very red. Then people, when they if they had hot fire, then when they take the li zhi, they can cause like a palpitation or something. But opposite in the T-SAM system, if the hot yangshu, that meaning cold, that will be what li zhi will be very warming. So then actually another similarity like associated with the li zhi will be we call long yan rou. That will be we use it in the herbal medicine is for like nursing the heart shen. That meaning what something related with like a sleep problem or thinking those kind of things. Then the fourth one that will be what is the apricot. We call xingren or whatever, say almond, a little bit different, okay? Should be is like apricot. The apricot will be divided to two different kind. One will be something like we call sweet, apricot. Another one will be called something bitter apricot. So the bitter one we cannot eat in raw. That can be had toxic because inside had little like the cyanide or kind of things. Okay, it's the major formula. We like ma huang tang. So we had ma huang, gui zhi, xingren, gan chao. Xingren that will be what is these things. Okay, but we can see it in the something like this one is the south one. They exactly look like the north one. That's what related with a little bit like toxicity. This one will be the south one will be no toxicity, then will be more for dietetic food because we use it that can be made like powder. We call xingren powder or xingren tea. So that will be what is no toxic but has something effect like
Xingren.
Yeah, like a xingren.
So then the north we have to be a little more careful with due to the toxicity in cooking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
However, the south will work. It's just more gentle for dietetics.
Yeah, so that will be very common in the supermarket. They selling those like powder. They provide for like breakfast, like kind of cream. People will be just put the hot boiling water. Then it can be just make a simple food. Then the last one, I think, even though in the dietetic, Western dietetic too, will be very recommendation. We talked about the walnut. So the walnut will be the shape will be exactly look like a brain. Okay, so then will be we say tonify the brain. Actually, in the organ we say it's a kidney. Then the kidney in the T-SAM system, we know that is also related with the like a bone or like a marrow and the brain. So that's why now, even though the Western society, they say, for all those kind of food, for the we looking for something like omega-3. Omega-3 many is in the fish, but in the walnut is same thing. If some people don't like it to eat that much fish, that is another alternative. Because they provide the same kind of omega-3 like DHA, EPA, those kind of things. Okay. So then we also talking about the five animal is related with five organ. So then the like a liver, we will be associated with the chicken. So then we talked about liver can be connected with the eyes because the liver blood will be nursing the eyes. So then later we talked about one of the kind of recipe. We can be using the chicken liver and also cook like gojizi, wolfberry, and also like juhua to make something like a simple dietetic treatment for the vision things.
Mm.
Then the heart we associate with the goat. Goat is different from the sheep. The sheep will be have more fatty, will be less nutrient. But the goat will be what? Because the meat is more lean, okay, and they will be more warming in the TCM, the natural system. So then will be good for certain kind of the heart, but it's not all the not like people who had like a high cholesterol. That is not very recommendation. Okay, but for before people like a kind of poor nutrition something, then the goat it can be good for. The spleen will be associated with the cow. Okay, the cow will be is like beef. So the cow now people say is red meat is not very good, but depend on in the TSM system. If some people they get very like poor nutrition, we call like yang qi deficiency. They are like a whole body feel cold. Okay, then the beef it can be pretty good nutrient, but the cooking way is very important. Why then? Because if we do it like a steak, then we put it in like barbecue, okay, or even though we put it in the deep fry or things like that, that will be lose the value. So then when we use the beef in the TSM system, we mostly will be what like we slice very thin. Then we'll be mix it with the ginger or ginger juice or a little bit like sesame oil or something, so that when the rice is we cook it in the like clay pot. When ready, almost. So then we be open the lid, then we put the beef over there, then just cook like 5 minutes something, then done. So that's the good way to be cook the beef. And also we use the beef, one of the the portion we call shake, okay, like in cat muscle something like a comparison with the human body, so that the kind of shank will be less fat, less cholesterol, but more the more something tendons, okay, gelatin. So then will be what we will be often use that portion of the beef to be like a double boiling with some herb like wild mountain yam, okay, shanyao, okay, or ginger, hong jiao, or even dang gui. They will be very nutrient, very tasty too. Then we just drink the tea, but also eat the sheng meat.
Jeffrey,
Yeah.
Jeffrey noted a while back a very special formula to help with tendinitis, which is beef shank. So it's tendon to tendon theory. So beef shank, although we can use lamb shank technically, but more warming because lamb, like goat, is very warming. So where beef is, would you say neutral to warm? Or
beef generally is warm, but not as warm as like a goat meat.
Slightly warm,
all the animal meat, the mostly warm is deer meat. But the deer meat is not the popular meat in the market. So then people just more easy to fire. Even though the goat meat too in the, like Safeway or Western market is difficult to buy. But like we show you the picture, it's very easy to buy it or available in the like Asian market.
So yeah, deer meat, venison is the most young, and the image, of course, of the deer is on the mountaintop, and then the antlers are even above the deer. So then lu rong, the herb, from the antlers is even more young and more warming, so we think of that as the most young. And of course, goat is extremely warming. In the case of cow, it's slightly warming, and we can use that in one of those famous formulas with gugen. And so gugen, maybe gochitsa, maybe celery, in a beef shank stew. And that's specifically for people who suffer from muscle cramps, tendinitis. It can be for athletes, but mostly blood deficiency idea. So people who have aches and pains, or weakness and instability of the tendons and ligaments and musculature, especially with cramping, then the beef shank stew is an excellent choice.
Okay, then we can go the lung, because that horse is on the the ancient the food. Now we not really have popular anymore, but because on the book they list that meat, so we just go over. So then the kidney we will be associated with the pig. So then the pork meat actually in the TSAM system is more widely or commonly to use it than another animal. Why then? Because we know that like pig, the size, or especially the internal organ, the size and the structure will be very competitive like a human being. Like we mentioned, like a cow, the cow stomach will be totally different from the human body, the stomach, okay? But the like the pig, the stomach very look like, okay? So then we know that already. Sometime before, we use it the pig, the heart, the valve to be, transplant to the human body. It's working until now, okay? So then I give you one example how to use the pig. Generally, we say the pork meat. We use it can be like a lean kind of pork meat. You can combine with any kind of herb to be cooked. For example, like shangyao, huangqi, dangshen, okay, gojizi, any kind. Then you can do double boiling. So then the pork meat just add a little bit like nutrient things, and also will be at the taste. One of the kind of strong dietetic treatment for the kidney, we mentioned like a low back pain. The low back is controlled by the kidney. So then will be what? We can diet something like pork spine, the bone meat. Okay, so then they will be what? So in the supermarket they selling in pretty cheap price. So then they can ask the salesman to be cut it into the small pieces, the pork spine, bone and meat. Actually, inside will be a little bit like marrow. Okay, so then will be what? The TSAM system we mentioned, bone to bone, marrow to marrow. So then that kind of recipe we will be put that spine, pork, neck bone, or tailbone. Then will be cooked with something selected herb. For example, like duzhong. So then the kind of duzhong will be very good for the low back pain, okay, or tailbone pain, or weakness of the leg. So the taste is pretty good.
And Jeffrey, some people may want to use beef instead, but I think in that case we'll be picking up more on benefiting the spleen. And here, when we're trying to treat the bone, it's the kidneys we're after. So the pork is benefiting the kidney,
the beef, I not we can see that they selling the spine bone in the market. Might be too big or something.
Too big.
Yeah. So then mostly they will be like the whole piece of the pork spine bone. They will be the bone also will be had some lean pork meat attached, and also inside will be had the marrow. So then they cut it, slice it, then selling like that way. That's what we use it for the dietetic.
So that special meat surrounding the spine, gives it a lot of that power for the kidney chain and
less,
therefore the bone.
cholesterol. Because usually it's not that much fat over there.
Collagen, and ligamentous processes.
That kind of thing.
Use the clicker.
Oh, there will be go back. Okay, so there will be. Okay, we also will be cover a little bit the general principle, like dietetic treatment for the season, 4 season. Because that will be what every year we have 4 season, 5 season in December to be rotating every year. So the human being need to be has something, uh, the food we need to be matched with the season changing. So that will be make your body, the energy will be match the natural energy. So that will be make your chi is like attached to the natural chi. So the idea we say like springtime, there will be what everywhere will be started to because winter time will be the plant most of the is dry out, look like dying. But on the springtime, it be started to be blooming or to be have something green come up. Okay, so that will be what we call that kind of energy in the nature is uprising the chi. According to that, then in the TCM we will be choose some food will be match that kind of energy. So, for example, like Shengma, but if some people didn't learn, the herbal medicine, they probably don't know what it is. Okay, but use another food, like a bean sprout, any kind of sprout. Okay, so it will be the same idea. Why the head sprout is because from the seed, the energy will be uprising. Then they start that will be head sprout. So that will be very match. We call the chi or energy is uprising on the springtime. So that's what spring we will be recommendation. Whatever eat more like mung bean sprout or soybean sprout or alfalfa sprout or another kind of sprout. They all is good because they match that kind of idea. We talked about the chi uprising.
And Jeffrey, I know one of the well-known acne clearing snacks is a mung bean sprout with jellyfish. Because it is springtime, is that a good time to clear the liver to benefit the skin? Because liver very much influences the skin along with lung, along with stomach.
It is.
So jellyfish with mung bean sprout dish, and we'll show some pictures of that later.
Yeah, and also we can combine with like the seaweed or those kind of things too. On the summertime, because the nature summer is very hot, so then we be what we all eat the food had to be cooling, and otherwise we will be accumulated from the outside the heart and inside the heart. Then we be all together. Then we become a one being. Okay, so it will be something related with the disease will be generating the fever. So any kind of cooling food in the TCM, when we learn the any herb, for example, like now in that studio, the outside the Jinyinhua or something. Okay, so we call clearing heat and cool the blood or relief surface. So then will be what we actually can be simply to do that. Or generally speaking, we say many food if the taste is bitter, that will be belong to cooling. For example, another simple thing, just like the tea, the green tea. Okay, the tea, the taste basically is a little bit bitter. Okay, so that will be what that will be we recommendation to drink more.
And Jeffrey was referring to right outside where we're broadcasting today. There's a lot of Jinyanhua, a lot of honeysuckle, and so that has its clear heat and toxin properties. And in the summertime, we want to make sure to clear the heat so that we don't.
You can just take that, Adam. You like you're outside those kind of Jinyanhua. You don't. I mean, of course, now in the room we mostly dry out those kind of Jinyanhua too because we want to be keep it in the storage for longer the time. But then for the herbal medicine, we had another idea. You just can use it a fresh one. You don't need to dry out. Okay. Before actually, all those kind of herbal people will be sent like a farmer. They go outside to pick it every day, just like a vegetable. Okay. But since technically a little bit difficult, and also because they keep it just like vegetable. If nobody buy it, then they will be spoiled, then need to be thrown away, then will be wasted. So that's why mainly now all we make the formula is all use a dry herb. But fresh herb actually even better.
Even better. And we
Yeah.
have a picture of that. Anyone can go at any time to www.healthcmi.com in our herb garden section. And then we have pictures of fresh honeysuckle.
Okay. Beside that, another season, that's only the TCM season. We call that is the long summer. But it's similarity like here called Indian summer. So that's why we divide that 5 seasons instead 4 seasons. So on the 5 seasons, generally in the mostly the country beside like California is different, but otherwise like New York or China mainly, so or Thailand, every country they usually on the long summer they will be a lot of raining. There will be generation like a lot of dampness, like flood or things like that. So then we say that will be more easy to be get the sickness called something like damp heat. Then will be what we generally want to be uses some herb we talked about called drain the dampness, clearing heat and drain the dampness. Then to be make the body inside the dampness is go through the urination to come out. The good example will be we call Yiran. Yiran is the pinyin name, but if we use it the English, we probably call that called Job's tear.
Job's tears.
Job's tear.
Sometimes also labeled as pearl barley.
Yeah, pearl barley. Sometimes they call that too. So that is one of the kind of good fruit to be cooked with another example like something we call winter melon, dongguan. We actually had imaging here too, right, dongguan.
Yeah, let's take a look at the dongguan.
Yeah.
This makes a great soup.
That is the winter melon. So then will be what is very cooling melon, and also will be promote the dampness, drain the dampness. So then we often will be cooked with yiran and with chenpi. Okay, right, then of course you want for tasty, you can be put something like lean pork meat or something chicken or things like that.
Now the winter melon is commonly prepared in a soup, and unlike the watermelon, which is very sweet, which also drains the dampness and clears the heat from the heart, great for clearing the summer heat. Watermelon. The winter melon, the dongguan, is not quite as sweet, so it also holds its form well in soup. So it's great to cut up sometimes into cubes or thicker slices and to put into soups. Gives a really refreshing, cooling nature to the soup. So I love winter melon soup. Sometimes with chicken or what have you. A great soup.
Then on the autumn, now on the nature, when autumn come, mostly is wind with the dryness. Okay, so then often it will be caused like something like a fire. So then in the TCM system, we will be talking about we'll be using something called moisturing the food. So what's that meaning? That meaning just when we eat those kind of whatever fruit or food or any kind, if they can generate the body fluid, make more like moisture, it's not that dry out. Because one of the very common disease will be what dry cough. Okay, the children too, because when autumn, the weather started to become cold, so then mostly the house will be turned on the heater. That heater is very strong, dry, evil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then of course we need to be beside. We say the food. At the same time, you need to be changing the house, the heating system too. So like now people use the Florence the kind of system. They will be because the first they will be make the gas to be to burn or whatever to heat that piece of the metal. Then later on they make the fan to be pushing those kind of hot air to be go through the whole house. That will be what is pretty kind of the dry evil. So that's why many children, we in the clinic, we saw many. So then they will be complaining about when started at the, autumn, then will be what the children will be had coughing, or even though sometimes they had nose bleeding, because we talked about the lung with the dryness.
So it depletes the lung yin,
Yeah.
and then we get the chronic dry cough due to forced air systems and heating systems where the air just gets too dry.
So then we need to change in that. But that at the same time, like we mentioned, we will be, eat more those kind of juicy food. Besides, we had some herbal medicine. We can be just like a common fruit. Something more juicy fruit would be good. For example, like Asian pear, okay, or some kind of like a melon, okay, honeydew, or those kind of things, okay. So that will be what people will be, the food will be generation, the yin or body fluid. Then will be make the body can balance out the energy with the outside, the too much dry evil.
And one of your favorite recommendations is actually the rock sugar Asian pear.
Yeah, with the the something like we call white kind of mushroom. So then will be what will be very good.
Baimu air white fungus.
The white fungus. Winter, that will be what in the nature everywhere it will be changing to very cold. So like even animal, they will be preparing on the beginning of the winter. Then they will be eat more food like snake. Okay, they will be to be preparing. Why then? Because in the winter so cold, then they will be winter sleep. Okay, then winter sleep they don't eat anything, but the body need to be have energy to do that. So then they will be what they will be eat as many as on the winter or the beginning to be make the body storage the energy. Okay, of course, human body we don't need to do that because we can eat the food whatever we want to. Okay, but the idea just say winter you can be eat a little bit more like even fatty a little bit food. Okay, like Alaska people will be eat more like salmon or those kind of oily the fish, or then they will be or some deer meat or things like that. Then to be make the body have more energy to be against the cold evil. Okay. We talked about the color. Okay, there will be 5 elements with the color. So the now will be what both TCM and also the Western study. Now I think they are matched together. On the before will be what is look like two separate idea. Now will be what after studying more and more. I think same thing too. Later on, I think the medicine. We talked about the conventional Western medicine. Now they will be what try to be had to be later on will be combined with some alternative medicine. Then we become more better medicine. Okay, for example, like here, we talked about the color. On the 5 elements, we say like green, we say is related to liver. Then on the Western study, it didn't have any idea about that, okay, the color. But now I think they talk about a lot. But then they just say, oh, you need to be just eat as many, the colorful food as good. That's what the general idea. But in the our system, we will be separated to see what different color will be what will be more specifically to get into the organ. For example, like the people who had the liver problem, like the chronic hepatitis or liver cirrhosis or those kind of things. So they should be taking many as they can all those kind of green color of the food. Why then? I think now they, for example, like celery, okay, or green tea, okay, or the deep green seaweed, or lemon, all those kind of things. They use it just different kind of terminology to talk about that. They say those kind of food might be belong to something antioxidant, okay, anti-cancer, okay. But in our system, we say those kind of actually the liver is more belong to like detoxify organ in the human body, okay. But in our system, we just say the liver will be what it look like the tree, so need to be go through everything, cannot have any blockage, okay. So then that's what we say, had any liver cheese stagnation or had something like the liver problem, we need to be using something like more deep green, those kind of food, like now we showing those kind of like that is kind of Chinese kind of celery. Comparison with the Western kind of celery will be it's just the smell will be stronger, okay, but they are less those kind of stem, not that big, okay. So then you want to be more exact. Actually, you don't need to cook them, okay. We can be just use it that fresh, whatever the Chinese celery or whatever the regular celery, then you make a juice to drink it. So that will be very good for the liver detoxify. Another term will be say, good for hypertension. Okay, then will be to help the liver to be the enzyme too.
So Jeffrey's pointing out that hypertension, high blood pressure, is very treatable in a dietary sense with specifically Chinese celery, which is a little stronger in nature. It's a deeper green, it's a longer, thinner celery, as you can see, and that can be made into a juice. So a fresh juice, making a fresh juice with that can very much help with hypertension.
Okay, another color, like we talked about the red. Before, nobody will be make that red connection with the hot in the Western, okay? But on the TCM, we say the red is related with the hot. So now I think they talk about like especially like somewhat tomato is red, or somewhat like even though say red wine is red, okay. Then they say like also like pomegranate, okay, it's kind of red. They all will be good for the heart in even Western study. Okay, then they say can be prevention something like high cholesterol or the heart attack, those kind of conditions.
And we cover a lot of the Western medicine. I think I've got it right here in our book, Chinese Medicine Dietetics, and you can find that on Amazon.com. And then you can get that there. Also, we have an anytime course at www.healthcmi.com you can take on dietetics, and it lists a lot of the Western medicine analysis and compares it with the Chinese medicine. And we find a lot of similarities, so that the Western medicine finds similarities, but we already know this in Chinese medicine to be true. But it's nice to see that they both reify each other.
Okay, another one like yellow color. So that will be for the good example like carrot. So that will be even though you eat, drink too much, of course, will be make your skin yellow too. But now all the study will be talks about the carrot will be what is the ingredient. The main things will be called beta carotene. Okay, that will be they point out that ingredient will be good for everything. Okay, anti-cancer, antioxidant, or all those kind of things. But in the TSM, will be similarity idea. We talked about associated with the spleen. So then, because the carrot, the shape, okay, and the colors will be look like kind of ginseng. So then we will be both like a Western medicine or whatever Western dietetic, but the TSM dietetic too will be recommendation. As many you can eat, the carrot will be very good for your body. It's like ginseng.
So,
Mhm.
what is the best translation of the Chinese expression about carrots? Is it ginseng for the peasants or ginseng for the poor
Because because
people?
the shape or the function will be a little bit like a ginseng, then they just call it that is the poor people ginseng.
Poor people ginseng. And if you look at it, you really
Yeah.
see the similarities.
Mhm.
Jeffrey, would you say that the larger ginseng, or actually the larger carrot, has a stronger function?
It general
Or,
speaking, yeah,
yeah.
everything, but it had to be organic because sometimes if they put something like fertilizing to make the carrot is very big, that will be something not natural, so that will be not necessarily good. Then.
And that's a very important concept in Chinese medicine dietetics, that a lot of these hormones and antibiotics and unnatural ways of growing and promoting the production of food detract from the intrinsic medicinal and nutritional value of the food. So that's very much inherent in Chinese medicine. Less processing is better nutrition. It's just a very simple concept in Chinese medicine. It's always been there. The more we process things, the less they can deliver the value to us.
Okay, then we can be also go for the white color too. The white color they will be related with the lung. So then the one of the good example there will be white mushroom. Okay, we call bai moor. That will be we can see the imaging to the fungal. I don't think that's very common diet food related with the Western diet. Okay, but that is the very common dietetic food in the TSM we call uh, Baimua or called Ying'er. They can be combined with many different kind of ingredients to make the soup. For example, like we can use it for like Asian pear, okay, or something called rock sugar, 冰糖, okay, or 莲子, something like a lotus seed, then to making like a very tasty uh, white mushroom soup. That will be what very moistening the lung. And also we talked about tonify the lung qi. The lung qi or wei qi, the idea just say similarity like immune system. Okay, so that will be very recommendation, like before we mentioned like Optum or something to be use it that recipe. Of course, you can use it the whole year round. Then the last color they will be black. So the black generally all the food if they have black color or deep blue color. Now in even though Western study, you'll be talking about had something ingredient. Actually, I forget the English. They talked about something all the like blueberry, blackberry, or the black bean or something vegetable. If the color would be like a deep green and black, then it will have one
Perhaps
ingredient.
resveratrol. I
Yeah,
think that's
something
very
like that.
big right
Then they
now.
will be say that is the very good ingredient to be observed by the body. then we have the body detoxified.
And that's
But
considered like a very powerful healing
yeah,
drug right now. Resveratrol is very big in the news, and they
mhm,
run in trends. But if we follow the Chinese medicine principles, we know to keep things like that in the diet.
it can be do one of the kind of really good example, like like hair, whatever we have black hair or whatever we have gold hair, okay, then the black color or the foot will be always get into the kidney. The kidney will be go to the hair, so that will be what is to maintain the the hair had natural good color.
And I think we have a picture of the black chicken that we can bring up.
Yeah, so we can.
So
let's
see if I can bring up the picture of the black chicken. Okay. Now, what's notable to me,
that's the black chicken.
What's notable to me is that in the Asian markets now, the black chickens are very healthy looking, where in the past the availability was much harder in large Asian markets, and they were usually smaller, and now they're pretty fresh and not just in the frozen section. So again, the black shows that it's good for the kidney. So the wuji or the black chicken we see in wuji bafang and other formulas, and also very good for cooking with the benefit the kidney.
Because actually, in comparison with the black chicken with the normal chicken, if naturally like the regular chicken is like take 1 year, you'll be able to lay the egg. Okay, then on the black chicken they need to be had like if they just naturally grow, had to be like 4 years something, can able to lay the egg. So then the black chicken inside will be the body storage is more stronger, the energy to be because they are to take longer to be mature.
Develop. And Jeffrey's always emphasized with the chicken that these modern industrialized chickens are not as healthy. They don't offer the nutritional and clinical value the way they're sped up in their birth process and to maturity. And even more importantly, Jeffrey's been very clear that eggs should always be organic because they do store toxicity, and we want to stay away from non-organic eggs.
Yeah, actually, in the U.S., the mostly the not that healthy food will be one will be like not organic milk, because they will be have something like use it need to be used the hormone or antibiotic to keep the cow, to produce the kind of milk all year long. Okay, so then the regular milk inside will be have many like antibiotic or hormone those kind of contents. The chicken too. The chicken, because of the normal chicken, like we mentioned, should be grown like 1 year to be mature, then can be go to the market. But now we be what in the business, the businessman will be don't want to wait that long. They want to be get the money more faster from the market. So then usually they will be what like all those kind of Kentucky Fried Chicken or any kind of chicken, deep fried. When we eat them, it look like juicy and also very tender. But why that? Actually, is not natural. If you eat the natural chicken, you can see the difference. The meat actually will be more tough. Okay, the skin will be more tough. Okay, but that's what the way the chicken should be. Okay, but now what? The chicken is very tender, very juicy. Okay, then because they are using something to make the chicken grow faster, instead like 1 year, I think they on the market it probably just 2 3 months from the baby chick go to the market. It just probably take 2 3 months. So that is not the natural way. So that's what we mentioned on the general chicken. That is not the it's dangerous food actually.
So the modern domestic flavors that have been cultivated are less of a game meat and very domesticated to the point where we lose the value and across the poultry spectrum for sure. So if we get something like a Peking duck in a restaurant, we lose the natural quality of the waterfowl. because it's bred for its fat content and also the preparation techniques.
Okay, so now we'll be go to another session. Okay, we talked about some kind that is kind of not really had any idea in the Western medicine. Talking about some people who had like body has some tumor, or the body has some cut, or the has something like skin issue, including something like psoriasis, eczema, or those kind of conditions. Food actually will be can be participating to make those kind of conditions worse or better. But that's part I don't think Western medicine will be recognizing that. And usually the dermatology or whatever surgeon, they won't say, what kind of food you be cannot eat or what kind of food you should be eating more. They just generally say, okay, you just, general nutrient is enough, okay?
But Jeffrey, I have to interject. I had a funny experience in my clinic the other day in the acupuncture office. Had a patient come in with terrible acne. And as we know, when acne appears here and here on the chin and cheeks, more kidney related hormone, we would say in Western medicine, but definitely forehead, stomach, yang ming channel related, food related. So I said, well, do you have in your diet potato chips? The patient said, yes. I said, do you have, chocolate in your diet? Yes. You like alcohol a lot? Yes. Sugar? Oh, I like the sugar. And the patient said, well, I saw my dermatologist. My dermatologist said, it doesn't matter what I eat. And locally, I'm finding most dermatologists now will recognize food matters, but there are still some doctors say it's irrelevant. And I guess I was humored by that because it's so awkward for me to hear that someone's not recognizing the fa nature of food. So those are obvious ones, but let's take a little more detail here at some things that affect the skin system.
Yes, because generally the skin, whatever they get, like acne or eczema or psoriasis, or like we mentioned, even tumor or any kind, the basic idea, all those kind of like a really hot, spicy, or spreads out, the energy, those kind of food, they can be also will be spreads out those kind of, the skin condition. For example, like alcohol. When we drink the alcohol, we can immediately feel it, how, the alcohol, the energy. It will be look like uprising or spreading, okay? That's why you make your face be look like red, okay? That's what the energy come from, like that. So then the skin, same thing. If they have psoriasis or whatever acne, so then will be what the alcohol, the energy can be make those acne spreads. Okay.
So for psoriasis, alcohol is basically out.
Yeah.
So
it's
just not going to work.
Yeah, not well. And also, I think even though now the Western study already come up some kind of say some food definitely can be affect to the acne too. I don't know you had pay attention to that. I saw the newspaper. They lately they which medical school I don't know, I forget, but they say some kind of study showing people drink too much milk or eat dairy product that much, they can cause more problem of the acne. That's not only a TCM study like that. It's also Western study. You can find out in the internet or something to be have that kind of study result. So that will be match the TCM too. Because we talked about like a milk or like a cheese or chocolate or those kind of things we call will be generation of damp heat in the body. So then basically like acne, especially when they get something like a pus, okay, so it will be like a red, okay, has something like discharge or things like that. That will be definitely is damp heat condition in the T cell. So then those kind of like we put it in the PowerPoint here, many like barbecue food too, like barbecue, spare or barbecue chicken, everything. They will be very simple logic. Look like skin is crispy or red or things like that. If we make the human body, the skin is look like that too. Okay, and also those kind of spreading energy. So if people who had like whatever cancer or tumor, do you think they also can be spread to the whole body too? So that's why. So in the like any um, had something those kind of condition, they should be very careful on the diet. To cannot eat any kind of food we talked about called fa. Okay, the meaning say is spreading.
So shellfish in particular are also very, very much a foul food. Brings out the
Yeah, it is
toxins.
because you can actually the logic you can see it like a shellfish. They will be look like the skin is very kind of after they cook will be what is very red, okay, and bumpy or things like that. So that will be what we talked about the skin condition.
So in this case, shellfish is red to red.
Yeah.
So we look at that. So take a look at some of the foods here: the yitan, the nomi, the shellfish, fish without scales, rooster, chives, ginger, peppers, goat meat, very warming, as opposed to other fresh foods which are very good. And we talked a little bit about this, Jeffrey, things that have the opposite effect that are cooling and clearing.
Yeah, like a jellyfish. Then you can see how nice they now people will be putting in the water aquarium to how to look at the character of the jellyfish to be relaxing. Okay, why then? Because they look like very smooth to be moving. It's very slow, but also the color too is very look like soothing. Okay, so now that kind of jellyfish in the Western diet, I don't think people will be eat them. Okay, it's very seldom. Okay, but in the TCM dietetic, jellyfish is very recommendation. So why then? Because one, even though we use it the I mean, with the Western nutrition the idea to look at that, because jellyfish will be no fat at all. Okay, will be had somewhat good protein. Okay, no cholesterol at all. Okay, so then will be what in TSM because we say that kind of jellyfish live in the ocean, so then they will be like kind of belong to the water. The water is related with the cooling.
And
of course, not all the fish belong to cool. Okay, like shellfish too. We just mentioned before. We just look at that, the logic. Look at that, what look like the shape so then we can figure out okay because like we mentioned the jellyfish is something like a look like kind of slow smooth or peaceful okay so that's what we use it that to treating something we talked about the heat or damp heat or something like we call the phlegm under the skin is somewhat like a tumor okay then they actually can shrink it. Not only just say tumor, like a gland swollen. For example, like lymph gland.
Jellyfish is special for dissolving nodules under the skin, lymph, tumors, but also great for acne. Again, we mentioned with the mung bean dish. Here is a more of a traditional dish here of prepared jellyfish. And it tastes like noodles. And Americans love, I think a lot of people love noodles. Noodles are fun. But jellyfish, although it sounds wild, puts fun back in the food. It does. You enjoy having noodles basically, but you're not getting all of that carbohydrate and fat, and it's also clearing toxins from the body. So it's just a great way to enjoy food.
And also the taste, how we can improve. If you just only just make the jellyfish, just, cook and eat like that, there will be no tasty. So we need to be what? You put a little bit like soy sauce, put a little bit like sesame oil, then vinegar. So that will be all like mix up. That will be kind of like cold play. So we never saute. Okay.
Never saute.
Never saute because saute will be against the nature of that. So we be just like put the jellyfish, put in the water, cook it, then take them out, then will be with the seasoning. Okay, like we mentioned on the soy sauce.
Lightly boiled
yeah.
to clean it off. And
yeah. Yeah. So that is the, the good food. Okay. Actually, we can be also mention about one of the kind of rice product we call rice soup. And I think now will be getting a little bit more and more popular. So then the idea will be what? We that kind of old wisdom we'll be talking about on the in the Asian time. People, especially the children, when they get any kind of sick, then will be easy to get like dehydration. On the now the modern time, people will be what? Send it to the hospital to be put the IV on, immediately put the glucose or the sodium water or something, then put in the IV. But before we don't have those kinds of modern equipment, then how the people to take care the children when they get the dehydration problem. One of the idea we can be just use it simple, very economic form of the rice. So we will be just cook the rice with the more water. Then later, because now the children they have any now they getting sick, like they have fever. They even though difficult to eat the rice. So now we want to be get the the enough nutrient, but we be make the children easy to observe immediately, just like IV.
So quick absorption.
Yeah, quick absorption. And how do that then? So we will be just boiling the rice with more water. Then later on, the top layer will become look like the color is look like kind of meal look like. Okay, we actually call that it's called rice meal. Okay, or rice oil. We call mi you. Okay, or mi jiang. Okay, that part is very easy to be digested by the children. Okay, so we can be put a little bit like salt. Okay, then we be what? We be can be competitive, like now people doing in the hospital to the IV. That's why the some businessmen will be using that kind of idea to make something called Pidilite.
Pedialyte, which is a name brand electrolyte drink. Now this is so easy to make at home. You just take some rice, use extra water, and then kind of scoop off that rice water off the top, and with a little salt, of course, in it. And it's just anyone can digest it when they're very sick, and slowly bring people back to health. And a lot of the slides we thumb through here today, we cover in several dietetics webinars, and there'll be a lot more coming up throughout the year.
Okay, and another product that will be a recommendation to do that too will be very easy to make your homemade rice wine. So that will be just use it something like a sweet rice, then you cook rice. Then later on you can mix it with yeast. The yeast will be selling in the market easily too. Like now, in the West, people can be make their own red wine or some wine. They can be do it like a home making, wine. Okay, that is the home making rice wine. Very simple, but very nutrient and very low alcohol content. People won't get drunk from that. Okay, because that is just like actually is something like people eat it like breakfast. Okay, it can be selling the market too. We didn't have that kind of picture, but it can be easy to find out. They look like kind of after the fermentation, the form will be look like kind of congee. Okay, but on the top layer is alcohol. We will be called normidil. Okay, so that will be what if people want to drink. So that's one of the kind of selection. It's very healthy drink. Okay, instead the strong alcohol. Then people drink that, and also we be eat that fermented rice too. Okay, generally speaking, we say the things after the fermentation usually is more nutrient because the fermentation is like a human body to digest it, to be like sanjiao system. Okay, to be make that food will be easy to be absorbed. Okay, for example, like another example, like beside the rice, like bean too. We can ferment the bean, like Japanese food we talked about, or Chinese food too, is something called, like miso soup or something. Basically, it's the bean to be fermented, become a paste. Okay, so that will be what is make easier to be digested than the raw bean. Okay, something also this similarity idea like also the germination to like bean sprout. So actually bean sprout like soybean sprout is more nutrient than the soybean because they kind of you know uh, fermentation is one of that like soybean, but germination is also has some kind of transaction inside the bean. They will be has somewhat biochemical changes. Okay, like for example, like if we eat the rice, then later on we will be feel it, the mouth inside will be sweet. Okay, because they already had something transaction already to be have the digestion. Okay, so that's what the idea.
And we know glutinous rice here, but remember that rice has no gluten. That's just the name for the shorter grain stout rice that has a sweetness about it. That gluten is only found in things like wheat, spelt, barley, and rye, and it's not found in oats either, actually. So rice and oats do not have gluten. So glutinous rice is separate. I wanted to mention that in case people were concerned about gluten allergies. And part of what we'll be doing is we'll be looking at the headaches and lung disorders. And let me bring us all the way down, Jeffrey. I'll get us there.
Oh, you get it?
Yeah, I think we can get there pretty easily. Yeah. We'll back up. We will in future workshops cover gastric disorders, things like that. But headaches and lung disorders, we wanted to cover a few nice recipes for that and take a look.
Okay, when we talk about the headache is the very common symptoms in the clinic. Okay, whatever acupuncture or herbal medicine, we dealing those kind of problem with daily basics, almost like every day. When we open the clinic, so we have some patient related to headache. So then in the Western medicine, generally is do nothing about because they just recommendation. You say, okay, headache, take some, painkiller or whatever, migraine headache, they might be a little bit more to be used as something different.
Yeah, I think the common name brand is Imitrix.
But if people depend on that, every day they need to be take the painkiller. Then when you stop, then the pain come back again. So it could be bad for the health. So we dealing with that headache is come from not only just treat that headache symptoms. We will be basically want to be changing the body, the constitution. See why they had headache, why they had recurrence. Because once in a while people get headache, they should be goes away if their body is balanced. It's something wrong if the headache is always recurrent. So we will be go over, see how many different kind of headache first. Then after we get the diagnosis, so we can be using the needle But then what? We be educated, the patient can be do something like dietetic treatment to be prevention and also to change in the body constitution. So that's what the more like a root thing. Headache, very common will be related with we call head wind. Okay, because what? The head is on the mostly higher position on the body. Okay, then they will be more suffering from the wind. Okay, so then the first diagnosis we talked about is wind cold or wind heat. Both we put together. What's the meaning then? Because usually wind heat or wind cold just kind of the in the Western name it just kind of different kind of the something like a common cold. It the heat I mean the headache just the secondary syndrome. Okay, when the whatever the cold we call wind heat or wind cold is better, then the headache it should be better. But some another things will be not that easy. For example, like the next one, we talked about the dampness, the wind damp. So the dampness, some people will be get a headache. They without feel sick. They don't have any like common cold or something. They still can be had headache. Some will be affected by the weather changes. Okay, for example, like had fog or had raining, then some people will be had generating headache. How explanation by the Western study? They say, oh, might be it just the body will be the sensation, something on the brain. They are affected by the whatever temperature or humidity, then will be generation the headache. But still will be they didn't have any idea to be take care about it. But we talked about some another headache, even more common. Is sometimes it be dangerous also. For example, we call liver wind. So what's liver wind then? We can see like in nature, wind will be moving things. Okay, like on the in the nature, like tree, if no wind, they just no moving, no shaking. Okay, but when had wind comes in, then the tree will be moving. Human body do the same way. So if we don't have any wind in the body, the portion of the body should be stable, should be don't have any shaking or something like a trembling. So we call that because your body, the organ has something imbalance, then the generation, the internal wind. It's not necessarily outside have something, wind blowing. That will be also make your body shaking. Very common. One of the example, like the people who had Parkinson's disease. So then the head will be always shaking, okay? Or cerebral palsy, then they will be shaking. But that's chronic thing. But if some people they never had shaking or something, trimming on the head, but now they have, we need to be more pay attention on that because when people who had high blood pressure, the common diagnosis in the TCM we call that is yin shu yang kan. That meaning what the each organ they will be connected with something like natural. Okay, liver will be more connected with the wind. So then people who had like liver had problem, commonly we say like high blood pressure. Then these people suddenly had headache and with shaking on the head. That will be is can be one of the indicator they might be had something pre-stroke or whatever something happened. Then beside that, some people will be had something like yeah, we just got the some people when they got like deficient kind, for example, like they just had headache, whatever they look like, the body feel be the energy feel very tired. Okay, so then will be what the headache will be what on and off or things like that. So then when they feel the low energy, they whatever exhaustion, physical or mentally, they headache come up. So that is different kind of headache. So that's what we will be mentioned. Whatever we need to be to diagnose it, see what kind of headache, then we can be use it what kind of dietetic treatment. Another diagnosis, it can be also related with phlegm. So the phlegm headache, I give you one of the kind of easy example. Like people, in the clinic, I saw many patients told me I had headache, but mostly is on the morning. When I wake up, then I feel more like a forehead or something on the, temple or something on the nearby the eyes. Then had headache. Why then? Actually, many times when we diagnose it, when we take a look at the tongue, then feel the pulse. Many times we find out actually we call it phlegm headache, but in the Western study, that will be similar to like sinus headache. Then the sinus, because during the whole night, so then they will be had the phlegm or mucus is accumulated in the sinus area. Then they will be generating the headache. Then after people moving or walk or exercise, so then the phlegm will be a little bit more draining. Then the headache is better. That is the kind of like chronic things on and off. So then we will be treat the headache, but we need to treat the sinus then. And otherwise, if they always still have the drainage on the sinus area, accumulated the phlegm, so there will be what you just take the Tylenol, they will be just say, oh okay, will be no pain for a couple hours. Then later on, get that again and again.
There's an old joke, take 2 aspirin, call me in the morning.
And another time of the headache, the patient will be tell you, say, I had headache, but it's always on certain position. For example, I just only had headache on that. We can ask him, how first time that headache will be show up on that area. Some patient will be can be indicated, say, on before that he might be get injury on the on the skull or has something like because we call if the patient always on the certain area never move around because when guy got a headache will be what the headache will be never stay on the one place. They can be go from left side or sometimes they go to the right side or top. That is just like nature. The wind is moving, the headache's moving too, the area. But now it's opposite. They never move. They only just on the one spot. Why then? Because that will be related with the the blood station we call. Then of course, like I mentioned, we can ask them the patient, do you have any injury on that area? Or of course, if they say, oh yeah, I had car accident, then after that I always had headache. Or even though they didn't tell you had any happen injury, but we still do it the same way because when we look at that, if the patient pain area is very fixed on that, that will be what that is match in our system. We need to be talking about when blood stasis is always like that. Then another headache condition that will be what we talked about. Some patient will be mentioned the headache not all the time, only just when they ate something food, okay, specific food, or of course, if they know that certain food will be generating the headache, for example, like if they drink the red wine or any kind, or eat the cheese, then they can be avoided to that. But some people will be mentioned, it doesn't matter what kind of food. And after they eat, they will be have some headache. It's hard to find out what kind of the food will be make them headache. For that kind of things, it's complicated in Western study. But in the TSM, we still put it pretty simple. We say because related to food, so mainly we call that is the food stagnation. The food not really can be heavy with the body to digest it. That will be generation the headache. So according to that, I will be one by one to be give you something like a recipe, okay, to be treat. Generally speaking, we say the headache, we will be using something different kind of the, something like a food or herbal medicine. But beside that, I will be especially to point out one of the idea we like in the TCM duet formula. We will be using something we call leading channel up. What's the idea? We say something we make formula, but we want that formula to working on certain specific area. Then we be especially put the something up on the formula. For example, like we want to be treat people who had like kidney deficiency, then they had the knee pain. We be using 六味地黄丸 or whatever 知白地黄丸 or 金匮肾气丸 something. But we want to be more stronger to on the knee pain. Then we might be need to use it like new C or something, those kind of certain we call channel leading. Right? The food treatment, the dietetic, same thing. We will be basically need to be used some food agent, okay, to make that food therapy to more working on the certain position of the body. Now we talk about is the headache. So then what will be that use it for leading to the head then? Simply we say use it something head, okay?
Head to head.
Head to head. But commonly we say like chicken head or the pig head or something, though it's not a very good healthy the before they do that, but now we will be more changing to use it the fish head. Okay, in the American diet, I think the Western diet, when we eat fish, when we clean the fish, generally speaking, we will be what we like it chop off the head, chop off the tail. Okay, then we fill it to be make the meat. Okay, then will be what to put that fish meat to be whatever saute or whatever deep fry, like English cooking will be called fish chip. Okay, like a French fry. Okay, then will be it's not the good way. Then the fish head nobody use it, it just throw away. Okay, but I think we will be had recommendation to more to use it fish head, so according to leading to the channel to be more for the headache or any kind of condition the head. So then on the in the China the traditional because like only just nearby the ocean then we can get like a fish head like a salmon or any kind. But if on the inland, they will be don't have the kind of the fish. Then there will be have something I show you. Do we have the kind of slide? We have called big head fish. Okay, so then the it's freshwater fish. Okay, but in here is a little bit complicated to get it. But I think on the New York, they selling a lot. Then they ship it to here, the frozen, to ship it to here. Then will be what? That kind of fish head will be with actually with the brain. You know, the fish brain. Actually, very good taste. The fish brain will be look like kind of soft. Okay, but anyway, it's difficult to get that kind of fish. It's go ahead to like now we see it in the picture. You know, any kind of like a rock cat, okay, or even though like what salmon, you know, head, it's still okay to substitute it. Okay, so then the idea we need to big head fish on that side. Yeah. But actually this one I think is kind of like a red snapper or whatever.
Yeah, they call it big head fish in the local market, but it's large. There are actually fish with bigger heads.
No, actually, I tell you what. To comparison, is like a whole fish. Fish head actually is very healthy. You know the nutrient. Why then? Because now everybody say why you want to recommendation to eat more fish. They talking about omega-3, talking about DHA, EPA, right? Those kind of things. Then on the whole fish, you can see which portion have more DHA or the EPA. Actually, is on the fish head or especially around the fish eyes. So don't throw away the fish eyes too. Okay. So then I give you something another idea or another information. Like what now people will be talking about something the eyes problem, like something like called aging, macular degeneration.
Macular degeneration.
Yeah, it's very hard to treat those kind of people. Or just say in general, how people the eyes, the vision can be remain like healthy. Okay, so then one of the kind of important thing is taurine. Taurine. Yeah, you know what taurine. Yeah. So then will be what? Actually, the fish head will be a lot of taurine. Okay, beside the EPA, DHA. So you know what? Like cat or owl. The bird. The night vision very good. The cat, they always walking on the night time
and always leaving birds at my doorstep. Yes.
Yeah. You know what the cat they like it to eat? One is fish. Another one is mouse.
True.
So then people actually study the mouse and also the fish had taurine.
Taurine.
Yeah, had a lot of taurine. So then the the taurine or omega-3, we call alpha, so acid, those kind of things, you'll be, very good to maintain the eyes. Okay, eyes is the head too. Okay, so that's what we mentioned. And whatever we're talking about now, all those kind of recipe related with headache, you will be need to be using some agent. Whatever we now will be probably be using the fish head. Adam, do you eat fish head before?
Yes, I like fish head in soup stock.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, very much so. And in Chinese medicine, we have the herbal bone, the Yu Shou Shi, right, for benefiting the brain.
Yeah. So but then in the something like Safeway or any those market, I don't think they selling the fish head, right?
No, not American.
I think they
so
will be
much.
only just selling the fish meat.
Well, you can buy the whole fish and then keep the head, but most people will throw it out.
Yeah.
However,
that's what I want to especially to mention. So where you get your fish head, where you eat?
Well, we have the local health food market has whole fish.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can cut, and then when we make a soup stock, and that takes some time to make a good soup stock, but boy, do they taste so good when you make them. Like that.
Okay. Anyway, so now I will give you the first one. That will be what, like I mentioned. So all those kind of recipe, you need to be put the fish head or whatever those head to be as an agent.
The channel
Yeah,
leading
the channel leading to
agent.
make that recipe stronger. And actually, in China, they have some kind of hot pot store. They call 鱼头火锅. They only just use the fish head to be making like what in Japanese they call shabu shabu something, like
Oh,
hot
shabu
pot.
shabu.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
like that. Then they will be use it the pot then to be something TCM idea. They had to be put the following one, like we mentioned, because people will be more related, like a wind hit or wind cold or something. And they will be used like 川芎. Actually, it's not baizu, should be baizi.
All right, so
Okay.
let's correct that.
Yeah, correct that.
Angelica, by
Yeah,
sure,
angel baizi.
not
Okay,
by Ju.
not baizu. Okay. Then will be what? Then will be ginger, fresh ginger,
Shengjiang.
zhenjiang. So that cooked with the fish head. Okay, so that will be what is very good for patient who had, like a headache. So that's what they, and also because those two herbs, they can be like a kind of cooking agent too. They can be take out because fish head is somewhat had a little bit like fishing smell. Not everybody like that. Okay, but then after you put the, 川芎little bit, okay, just a couple slices, okay, then the白字, so that will be what can take care the, the fishing smell. And if you want to stronger, even though you can put a little bit downgrade too. The same is angelica.
So Baizhi helps when cooking fish to take away the odor, and of course is special for headaches, especially in the Yangming channel. Chuanshang tonifies blood just a little bit.
And for the liver channel, like
liver channel.
Part of the headache, like Yin, okay. So then we that's what some like I mentioned those kind of hot pot store, then they will be get the idea when they use the fish head to make like soup. Then they will be after that. Then they will dip any kind of vegetable they like it, like a mushroom or some veggie. But that is the basic, the ingredient of the soup. Then they will be what they can eat some fish head, but then at the same time they will be eat some vegetable. So then we be enjoy the taste, but also we have something like medicinal effect.
And Jeffrey's referring to in America, we do have shabu shabu restaurants, which are a lot of fun. So you've got this big pot, or it looks like a giant wok in the center of your table. Everyone sits around. There's some boiling water, and you can give in the ingredients and throw them in the pot and cook them up. Maybe in this case, fish head with some noodles or something, and you would put. In this case, you put the herbs
in Bay Area, they already had the kind of hot pot store in the special store, but they usually is used the lamb meat. The lamb meat, yeah. Lamb. They call Mongolian something.
Mongolian beef store.
Beef, hot pot store, things like that. Is but then also the the basic soup. They put a lot TCM herb on that.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Sometimes people can try it and see what happens. Okay, it's a pretty good healthy cooking way too. Why then? Because we don't need to put any oil or saute or any kind. So then we just put the pot. Then you already had some herbal to make the soup. Okay. Then when they boiling, then whatever the material food you want to, like I mentioned, there's something beef or something, the goat meat or any kind, okay, or fish or mushroom or veggie, then you can just put it on the the boiling water to deep it, because the boiling part they operated by something like a magnetic something cookware. They just put like piece of the metal plate over there. Don't need to be any gas or.
So it sounds like an induction heat.
Yeah.
System.
Then they just set the the hot pot over there, and the water will keep continue boiling. Okay.
So again, Jeffrey's mentioning just a healthier cooking techniques. We've talked about that a lot throughout dietetics courses, where more yin methods like boiling or steaming are not as common in
Yeah,
American
because you know
foods.
the idea, any kind of herb or any kind of food, if you put it in another method like a saute or put it in the oven, the temperature can be, more than
More warming.
100, C Celsius, okay, or 200 or 300 can be. But if you put it in the boiling method, they never over 100 Celsius, C. Why then? Because the evaporator, has steam or things like that. Then now I think many scientists find out if the food, any kind of food, if they over like 200, 300 Celsius, or something, then they will be had something changing, especially after they like charcoal will be make something like things can be cause cancer.
Carcinogenic
Yeah, so that's what
property.
we now talking about. Deep fry something too. Okay, because the temperature will be
Too hot.
generating is too high. Okay, but then we use it the kind of hot pot, the kind of idea to cook. Will be never, will be always keep like healthy. Okay, so that's the first one we call wind cold. Second one we say talk about wind heat. There will be opposite. Like people, like summertime. Okay, then outside is very hot. Okay, then will be what? Then they can have headache or whatever. People who had something common cold, but then will be have fever. Then they can have headache. It's all belong to that time. So then we will be what? We use a different agent, but you still can be using the fish head, okay? But we will be using something like, chrysanthemum, and also like I mentioned, like outside those kind of jinyinhua, okay,
So fresh
honeysuckle,
honeysuckle,
okay,
chrysanthemum
or
junhua.
mint. Actually, mint is a very popular cooking agent in U.S. too. Many people grow the mint in the backyard too for the cooking. Okay, that will be what whatever you can be used the green tea or like we mentioned, you'll be use the fish head to cook. Okay, too. So that will be what is opposite of the wind cold. That is a heat kind. So that will be what is cooling agent.
And I want to see if I can bring up Zisuye. We don't really see it too much.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in our video, the Zisuye. I think here it is.
Yeah, it's type of the the mint.
And let me bring that up because I think it's interesting to see fresh in the market Zisuye. And we use that in Chinese medicine for
Actually,
wind
this one
attacking
is
conditions.
it's kind of 紫苏叶. You say one side will be purple, then another side is green. That's what the character of the 紫苏叶. So it is that is the picture on that.
So that's fresh Zisuye, which is found in Asian markets. We get it in the herbal clinic, as the spice release surface herb. But let's take a look at that.
Okay, another when we talk about the wind dam kind will be related with people who had like a pain is like a dull pain, something around the eyes or around the nose, like I mentioned, very look like Western thing, something like sinus. Okay, that's what we talked about. Phlegm, but also can be damp, or some they can be affected by the weather changes, like a raining or like a foggy. Then they will be have more headache. At that kind of things, we be used the yiran, Joe's
Job's
Job's tea again,
or pearl barley.
yeah, probably or bai bian dou. Actually, that's what we talked about the kind of white kind of bean. Okay, the round bean. Okay, so those kind of ingredient to be cooked, whatever the fish head or lean pork meat. Okay, for example, too, like we mentioned, those things, all the ingredient you cook with the fish head is better, but if some reason some people don't like it, then you can switch to the lean pork meat too. It just make like it more tasty.
But better to use the fish head.
Yeah, yeah, but if something any reason. Yeah.
Make it acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Then the next one, we talks about the liver wind. That's the problem, like usually generation by the high blood pressure. Okay, so then will be what the headache, but beside the headache can be like we mentioned, somewhat shaky on the any portion of the body. So then we will be what we use it the one or the herb we call xia ku tao. That herb actually is not consuming; it's just the herb is also considered a food. We can find that in the supermarket. They put like 1 pound or something, put in the plastic bag to selling for the general public. Okay, so that will be what is very good for cooking because when we select those kind of herb, will be had medicinal function, but without any too strong tasting. That's what the idea. We use it for the for dietetic. Okay, that is the principle. We don't want to be used as something very strong smell, something that should be just tea. Okay, it's not the food treatment. Food treatment, the general idea we say is the mild taste is the acceptable for all the people. Okay, because some like we talked about we in the clinic we want to prescription some herbal tea to be to the patient. Then the next visit, the patient come back to say, "Oh, I cannot drink those kind of stuff. It's too much, too strong. Tastes so bad." So then we say, "Okay, then I give you something. That will be what? The taste will be mild. They will be acceptable for most people. Try that." Okay, so that's what we talking about now.
Yeah, shaku chow is available in Asian markets in large bags in the dry section. And you mentioned before about dampness. I wanted to pull up a slide on Baibiando. We have one. So just very quickly,
Yeah,
you see what it looks like in the
Oh yeah,
marketplace.
that's what Baibiando look like.
They call it French bean here.
Or it's called French bean?
Well, that's what they call it here. They
Oh.
always come up with a creative name for these things.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to give a few ways that people might be able to identify them in the marketplace. So this is great for dampness by Biondo. I wanted to take a quick look at that before we move on.
Okay, then will be what? Beside the xia ku tao, we have another very common herb. That herb is very good too. Taste is good. Also can be promoted. I mean, what to have lose the stool. It's called 决明子. That 决明子 also will be selling in the market as like food too. Okay, so then there will be people use it that for constipation and also for lose weight. Okay, so we didn't have the imaging for the 决明子, but
no, it's a common Chinese herb, great for the eyes.
and
headache, so and very clearing.
Yeah. Then one more, that will be very strong one. That we call gotan. Okay, then will be same thing. Is the in the formula we call 天麻 gotan yin is the king herb for the one of the popular and important formula for internal weight. We often use it for the for high blood pressure. Okay, that will be what it's not expensive. Okay, so then but that herb you need to be know at when we same thing when we do at the formula or now we do at the food treatment. Same thing too. We don't cook too long. That we will be say the herb or whatever the dietetic soup is ready. Then we be put the gotan.
Just to steep it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the flavor is a little too strong.
That would be.
So then you get the benefit of the gotan without someone complaining about your herbal tea not tasting good. So a little bit to steep at the end.
Okay. Then another another headache, they will be also related with we talked about people who had headache, but will be on and off. And usually when they feel like exhaustion, then will be the headache come up. Some students told me like that too. When
G
they
and blood
study,
deficiency.
study too much, then they will be feel headache. Okay, then when they after relax or after they had more good sleep, then the pain of the headache will be goes away. So that kind of condition will be called Qi and blood deficiency kind of headache. For that, the recipe will be totally different. Okay, so we need to be using something tonified. Qi and blood. For example, like a qi, what's that? That one of the common food is called shan basically, in English, we call wild mountain yam. Okay, that will be we can show you the slide too. That will be before it's not that popular, but now it's become popular because that kind of fresh mountain yam, they now will be what local grow that and to be put in the market because the market demand. Okay, so then will be they had daily fresh selling in the market all the time.
And this
you never
particular
can be
is,
say out of the stock. They always over there. All
there is
season,
local.
all season from local.
But this is actually imported from Japan in this picture.
Let's see. It
It's
might be too, but some
yeah.
is just.
And they call it fresh nagaimo here in the
yeah,
Japanese
some
name.
too. Probably they
So-
use some kind of method. Put it in the something like refrigerator tan or something to be shipped to here.
So
because
that's
then
one way
if
of
you have
identifying
very
it.
good method, they might be can stay longer to be get fresh. Okay, but if you do have some fresh local farm to make that thing too, you have choice.
More and more, and I hope to see more of that shanyao or diaspora yam for cooking. It's such a powerful and important herb, but you can identify it when it does come to like a Japantown or something as fresh nagaimo. So you have an easier time identifying it.
And actually, those kind of shanyao, they will be had when you peel the skin, you had a little bit technique because they are very slimy. Very like kind of mucus, sticky a little bit. So then maybe what you probably need to wear the glove or something to peel off that. Okay, but taste is very good. Actually, those kind of slimy or whatever sticky, those kind of juice, actually it's good stuff. It's the medicinal function strong. We see many food beside this one. You see another we call okra.
Okra?
Yeah, okra.
Yes.
Same kind of idea. If you're preparing, you cut it, you'll be slimy too. Very look like sticky. But those kind of whatever you like, some yam too. So sanyao or okra or some another vegetable too. If they had that kind of sticky character, don't think bad. Actually, it's the good stuff. Okay, they usually can be like a lubricated your bronchial system and also your digestion system, or even though the muscular, what the joint system, like every joint, like a knee or whatever, we have something like something had lubricated. Okay, so that will be what that kind of food when they had slimy, that will be what easy to connect that will be lubricated the joint also.
So it lubricates the yin, it benefits the jin yang.
Yeah,
the
because we say
the
that
joints.
Called jin ye. Jin is like very clear or kind of water portion, but yi was that is what the lubricated in all those kind of joints. So then very like a heavy or like a sticky that we call yi. So that many in the nature, many food, if they have that kind of
sticky nature,
it's good thing.
Kind of a slimy, sticky nature. I think Jeffrey's trying to say that Americans tend to not explore too much and like these type of textures,
Yeah.
but in reality, it's a sign of quality and health.
Mhm. Okay, then another food or herb, we talked about gojizi. That will be what now I think is more popular in US now. So whatever they put the name, sometimes they could put directly put the pinyin called gojizi. Sometimes they also selling like on the Whole Food or on the Trader Joe or something. They use a different name called wolfberry. I don't know
Wolfberry,
why I call that name too, but okay.
kind of
So
a more of an English European name. You can see it here:
mhm,
Lycium berry,
mhm,
wolfberry.
mhm,
Uh, here's another type of packaging: dried medlar. But
mhm,
I think easy to identify, and now I see it in the organic markets a lot. So I'm really happy about that.
mhm,
And it benefits the eyes. It's great in our beef shank stew that we talked about earlier.
mhm. So we will be like people who had like deficient time. Then will be what we will be use those kind of good taste, but also to tonify. Like 山药 belong to tonify qi, and gojizi that will be belong to tonify the blood. So then will be what we can be use it more if they look like more yin shu. Then we actually can be use it something like water turtle or turtle,
Hmm.
but that will be not very common food in the for US. But just the idea. So then we can be put something like grow in the ocean or water. Then they will be more tonified yin. For example, another product. We can I don't know I show you or not in the right now we can buy some called conch.
Conch. Yeah, we
Yeah,
can definitely.
like a
That is
sea
common.
snail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Abalone too,
Yeah, abalone,
also.
but abalone too expensive. It's
Okay, so
not
we'll go
very
with the
popular.
conch.
Okay, yeah, we go to more like conch. Because conch will be not that expensive.
No.
And actually, they sell in the market. Some is I mean the light one. It's very fresh. Okay, so then will be what? That is related with like we talking about the kidney yin. But if young, then what will be that? Should we be switched to something like a chicken or something like a beef, shank or something? Okay, but we still put the tonified the shan yao or go jizi, or even though we can put more all related with taste good, like a huang qi. Okay, I think very popular now too, huang qi. Astragalus, right? They
Yeah, I
call
think
them.
it's getting there.
Mhm.
Astragalus or Huangqi
Yeah,
is getting
yeah.
there in terms of
Hmm.
popularity for
Hmm.
benefiting the qi.
Then why we select that then? Because actually that huang qi the smells good too when we cook with the food.
And
Okay.
and again, most of these are like a light stew or cooked lightly in water. We talked about like in a shabu shabu restaurant. It's a
Mm.
great way to extract the goodness
Hmm.
from the herbs into the food.
Hmm.